Day two of the Saratoga meet for 2024 is going to be on Friday, July the 12th, and we have some best bets and some spot plays for you throughout the card. We will be taking a look at the daily racing form past performances, the all access PPs, which you can get at shop.drf.com in the Saratoga handicapping store each and every day. Past performances, DRF picks, and clocker reports all throughout the meet, betting strategies every week on Saturday to help you out even more with your wagering. So I am recording this on Monday evening. That's what's going to be nice about this meet as well. They're drawing the races early, so you'll have a little more time to handicap those races. And if you need help with the opening day card, we took a look at that one. It's on YouTube in a video. Barry Spears joins me. We look at the late pick 5 sequence for opening day at Saratoga. So hopefully we can help you out on Thursday, and then we make some money and come right back on Friday with some plays all throughout the card. Race number 1 at Saratoga. It's a maiden special weight, and I didn't think it was the strongest maiden special weight in the world as far as with proven form. We have Lord I Wonder from the inside for a 3-year-old filly, first time out of the box, going 7 furlongs from the rail. Might not be easy. You know, the 2-horse showed speed in the debut, but she will definitely need to improve off of that effort. Reliable Ladies races have been solid, fine, but nothing overwhelming. Corona Princess debut was on the synthetic, didn't really show much that day. On the outside, you have Ascension, who didn't really show much debuting on the turf. That leads me to Martingale, who, you know, going through her form overall, I think her body of work could give her just a little more seasoning than the rest of this field. She debuted back in September of 2023 in a race where there were a couple next out winners. The horse that won that day, Ringy Dingy, came back to win a $100,000 stakes race next out. Third place finisher that day, came back to win a maiden special weight. Then she goes a mile and an eighth in her second start. It's after a couple months off. And it's a small field. It's just a field of 4. So those are always kind of tricky races where you don't really get your normal trips. Everyone's having to show a little bit more speed just to kind of keep up in that race. January the 27th, it's a muddy sealed track that day. Put a line right through it. She returns on June 21st at Monmouth Park. And I think just anything close to that would go a long way in this race. She's cutting back from a mile to 7 furlongs. She loomed up to challenge at the top of the lane in that race at Monmouth Park. The horse who won that day was just sitting closer. Lady Lala moved to the lead early on, was almost a wire-to-wire winner, gate-to-wire winner. So now you have Martingale, who moved all the way up to challenge before tiring. Now has that race with the bottom, the fitness. Second start back after that 4.5-month layoff. I like the 5 in here if we can get anything 3-1 or above. I thought 7-2-ish felt fair on Martingale. Moving along to race number 4 for my next play. This one is a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. It's a first level allowance. Let's look at the one, Inflation Nation. So the first 6 starts of her career, or his career, all very good. He's not beaten more than a couple lengths in any of those races. He's multiple stakes placed there. And his lone victory comes going 5.5 furlongs. This trip that the 4th race is on Saturday. He has a break from July 8th of last year to June 16th of 2024 of this year. So first we got to do is eliminate that July 8th race. If you're looking at the form and that race is bothering you, just put a line right through it, cross it out. Because Appraise didn't really get involved. He showed a little more tactical speed than that recently, and he just didn't fire. So put a line right through the race, because following that race, he was sent to the bench for a long time. He changed barns. He came into the Maker barn. And on June the 16th, he was in a pretty good spot. He was in the 2 path. He was chasing. He was 3 deep. He was in between horses when he moved up the challenge at the top of the lane. He tired as expected. Now the blinkers come on for the second start after an 11-month layoff. He could take a big step forward in here. And with the blinkers and with him showing that good speed last time out, I don't want him on the lead, but I know that he can at least use some of that speed to try to be tactical and navigate the rail if it's a little tricky down there. But go through the rest of the field. I don't think there's that much other early speed in here. You have a horse like Cigarette Boat who could be close. Yarrow's more of a tracker. The 7 to me is the real key to the race. He's shown better speed on the dirt. He hasn't shown that same type of speed on the grass. And it's been going a little longer. Going 6 sometimes is a little different than 5.5 on the turf. So can Inflation Nation just stay close with the blinkers on, close enough from the inside? Maker and Irad aboard. Let's go no less than 7-2. This horse has to be 7-2 or above if we're playing to win. Definitely a horse I'm using in the multis. Where do we head next? For our next play at Saratoga, I'm going to move to race number 7. This one is a 1.16 miles on the inner turf course. It's an optional 35. And looking at the Timeform US pace projector, they actually thought that there wasn't going to be that much speed in this race. And I always love to look at Timeform US. Most of the time, I agree with them. This was one where I think there will be a little bit more speed than they may project. They have the 7 basically stealing this race with not a whole lot of movement. And I'm going to go back to the formulator past performances, kind of go through the field. And I feel like there are maybe 5 horses who could be forwardly placed in here. Like the 1, Sinful Dancer, who we've seen showing speed. Last time out, routing on the turf, showed speed and has actually been able to show speed in dirt sprint races. The 2, Gilded Kraken, has shown speed going shorter as well. And last time out was on the lead going 1.16 miles on the dirt at Churchill. Devil's Key comes out of 6 sprint races in a row. And the last time we saw him going a mile, he was right on the lead. So the 3 inside horses, all 3 of them could be forwardly placed. It wouldn't shock me. Then you move through the rest of the field. The 7 might be the quickest of all of them. And the 10 has been forwardly placed in all 3 of his starts. So I'm going to try to give horses who I think want to sit off the pace a little bit more of a look in here. And one that I gravitated towards was the 4, Classic Creation. Some of it has to do with his running style. Some of it has to do with the horses that he's faced through the years. A couple years back at Saratoga, he's behind General Jim. That's a multiple graded stakes winner, General Jim. You see the race at Tampa where he's behind next out winners of Western Yarn. He's one of a few next out winners in that race. Behind Talk of the Nation, who's a multiple stakes winner. We're going to see him entered on Saturday in a graded stakes race. You have Khalik, who's a grade 2 winner. You have Program Trading, who's a multiple grade 1 winner. Francesco Clement is a grade 3 winner. So look at all of those races where he's in allowance type races, optional claimers and allowance races just below stakes. He's facing stakes level horses in all of those races. He drops down at Turfway after just having been in too tough repeatedly and then a couple troubled trips. And then he gets a wake up with the class relief on the synthetic and he gets a victory there. Following that, at Santa Anita, he goes 1.125 miles against a 50 starter allowance group, which is very comparable to this group right here. He was a good third that day. And then on April the 14th, just put a line right through that at Keeneland. He just missed the break, stumbled badly, then got bumped, then got pushed out. But there's none of those really tough horses that he faced last year in this spot. Should be able to take back, get one run, come closing late, but he doesn't have to be dead last. And with Pratt aboard, he always does a pretty good job of getting horses more forwardly placed than they should, putting them in a good spot. Classic Creation. Anything 7-2 or above, I think should offer us some really nice value there. Let's keep rolling along. Up next, we'll go to the 8th race. This one is the Wilton. I'm looking towards the outside in here with Dazzling Move as a horse who has a nice body of work, and the improvement that she showed since going long on the dirt. Her 2 races going a mile on the main track have both been victories. She sat off the pace last time out at Laurel Park. And in that turf race on May 4th at Gulfstream, she actually faced a nice horse there named D. Regresso, who's won 3 straight, 2 of them stakes races. The experience and the outside draw could give her some options in here. She could sit close. She may not be the horse with the highest ceiling in this race, but with her foundation and the outside draw, I like her a little bit in this spot. She's going to be in late exotics for me, the number 7, Dazzling Move. Race number 9 is the Coronation Cup, 5.5 on the turf. In this one, to the outside, the 10 is going to be the horse to beat. That's Star of Mystery, who will be a heavy favorite in here. Second start off the break for Appleby. This is a Group 2 winner, Group 1 place, multiple Group 1 placed. I'll give you a few that are on my radar price-wise. So the 4's cutting back. That should help her. But if you're liking the 4 Pipsy, watch the race that Pipsy ran on May the 12th at Aqueduct, where Kiryu was in there, and she had a legitimate trouble that day, and I thought ran very well. And if you just want to focus on turf sprints, Kiryu has been excellent. Her first 2 races were victories. Then the synthetic race, eliminate that one. She went a mile on the turf at Keeneland on a good turf course, eliminate that one. And then back to a sprint where she was much better. I'm using her. The 5 was the other one I wanted to mention, Twirling Queen. She's just in really nice form right now. She's won 3 in a row. She has good tactical positional speed, so it puts her in striking range, but she can sit off and she can finish. She beat a couple common rivals that are back in here, horses that came out of that race to win their next start. Twirling Queen. It's one of those fun pick 4, pick 5 type of horses with that 8-1 morning line price. One more to discuss on Friday at Saratoga, Friday, July the 12th. Let's go to race number 10 and the number 7, Over and Ollie. Go through his entire body of work. So that career debut, he's going a mile on the slop at Ellis Park. Put a line right through it. Just doesn't like the off track. The 3 races at Woodbine last year, those are very good. And those are strong fields that he's facing. I was watching those races and playing the Woodbine races every day. Did some work with them last year. So I was covering those races and doing videos and playing them all myself. Aha Moment came out of that race to win next time out, beat a first level allowance group, and got really good towards the end of last year with a couple races at Woodbine, middle of last year, more like. And then the 2 maiden races following that were also very strong. The one on the grass on August the 23rd just couldn't pass a horse who was loose on the front end. That was a winning type race. And then on the 3rd race in a row at Woodbine, back to the synthetic on September the 3rd, 2nd and 3rd place finishers that day both come back to win a maiden special weight in their next start. Fenor and Exude. So after that, Over and Ollie is off from September to June. Shows back up in June now, back in the Al Stall barn. And has a slow start, just never gets into it on June the 16th at Churchill. But what's nice about that race, it shakes off some of the rust for him. It's a fitness builder. Now you get the second start back off that, 9-month break. The drop in class, a first-time gelding. Dettori jumps aboard. Lots of positives here for the 7. over and Ollie, who is 6-1. We need at least 4 if we're going to play a horse to win there. Make a little win wager on over and Ollie. Best of luck on Friday at Saratoga. I will have videos and segments on the podcast and handicapping helpers throughout most of the meet at Saratoga. So if you're following this and you're watching the video on YouTube, if you can subscribe to that, you'll get the videos for Saratoga, Del Mar, any other tracks that we have delivered to you. If you like the video, it'll also help share it around, and it helps us quite a bit, just getting more eyes on that. I've done a really bad job promoting the YouTube channel throughout the years. So that one, I'm going to try to do a little bit better during the summer. And speaking of YouTube channels, the DRF YouTube that Dan Illman is in charge of is awesome. They have previews for all of the big stakes races all over the place. If you're not subscribed to the Daily Racing Form YouTube, you want to go do that right now, because that's a bunch of free information. They give you the Timeform US Pace Projector all the time, race replays there, Dan, Ashley, Mike Beer, and all sorts of the DRF staff on some of those videos. But Dan does a really great job there. So hopefully we can help you out throughout the meet. And we encourage all of you to head to drf.com for that Saratoga handicapping store. Good luck on Friday.